dealt with the intellectual property right, we have to then look at the business plan, whether we have to commercialize it, whether we have to share it as DIY solution, and that will require us to understand the nature of technology, how complex it is, how complex the solution is, can people make it themselves, is it available, widely available raw material, and if so, for poor people who don't have money to buy, it can be open source. But there may be people who don't want to make it themselves. They don't have time, they don't want to go through the drudgery, they can make it. So for instance, they can buy it. So you have, for example, tablet lozenges or tablets for cough, which have more or less the same ingredient that you would have made yourself. As I mentioned earlier, you could have taken ginger extract mixed with honey for cough. But now you take a tablet or lozenges which has 90% sugar or 95% sugar and only maybe 2-3% of the extract. And you buy it because you don't have the patience to extract the juice and then mix with honey and so on. So you can choose which route to use it to disseminate. And whether it needs investment. If it needs investment, we have to give risk capital. And the risk capital is financing part of it. We have to make a business plan. We have to look at how much investment will require. Can I outsource the manufacturing? Do I have to invest in capital equipment right away? All these issues come into the business plan. So this is the whole value chain. Scouting, documentation, validation. Listen carefully, please. And if you have a notebook, please write down. Value addition, intellectual property protection, business development through DIY route or open source or commercially, investment, risk capital, manufacturing, dissemination. These are the usual minimal steps in the value chain. This is what we call as value chain. Today we are discussing the first step of it, how to scout and document. When we do this, it's very important that we remember whenever we document any knowledge, we should know whose knowledge it is. Correct? Whether this is a common knowledge of the community or there is an expert who knows how to dispense it, how to give it. Sometimes knowledge may be common, but the ability to practice it may not be common. Not everybody knows how to use this medicine. So there may be people who are specialized in using that or dispensing that medicine. They know what is the degree of ailment, what is the nature of the patient, and they may decide how much dose should be given, for what age, what gender, and so on. So that skill of dispensing may not be common, may not be with everyone. But this plant may lead to this solution. This may be common sometimes. So while scouting, we don't scout only the knowledge, we also scout the knowledge expert. People who are knowledgeable, who have expertise, who are able to convert that knowledge into practice efficiently. They know what the side effect could be. They know how to take care of them. They also know how to dose it. They also know what are the things that have to be avoided when you take this medicine. They also know with what should this medicine be taken. Should it be taken with honey? Should it be taken with milk? Should it be taken with water? Should it be taken with butter oil or ghee? All of these carriers determine how will the transportation take place of the drug to different parts of the body. And as I mentioned, there are 4 elements which we would like to find out when we document. Does it have, what is the curative part of the medicine, or if it is a medicine, or is a herbal pesticide, whatever, what is the carrier, what is the bioenhancer, and what is the suppressant of side effect, if there's any. So first step is whose knowledge it is. Clear? Any question up to now? I'll go very slow. I don't want to happen what happened just now, that I say something and none of you will understand and none of you remember. There's no point in my explaining to you. So please let me know if any question about up to now. It's clear? Deepti, are you able to understand? Huh? Deepti, are you able to understand? I'm seeing your picture, but I don't know whether you are able to understand or not. Are you able to listen to me? Deepti, are you in the class? Or you just switched on and went? Please switch on your videos, all of you. Switch on your videos, everybody. In my class, every video should be on. Please switch on your videos. Mohan. निक्षिता, मधुलिका, आप लोग कहाँ हैं भाई? मधुलिका, where are you?
Yes, sir.
Why are you not switching on? Nikshita, Darshini, Amisha, please switch on. निक्षिता, मधुलिका, आपका वीडियो अभी भी ऑन नहीं हुआ है. You have to switch on. Madhulika, what's the problem? Switch on.
Yes, sir.
Nikshita, very bad. You know, I have to make so much effort to make you switch on your videos. Does it take so much time just pressing a button? Avinash, Amisha, Nikshita, क्या problem है? Kirti, you are wasting time of everybody. Lakshmi Priya, Amisha, now Amar,
Sir, Professor.
Remove all those who are not switching on their videos. Remove them immediately. Immediately remove them. Immediately remove them. I don't want anybody in my class who is not present with all the attention that is required. Please remove them. I am removing Nikshita. I am removing Amisha. You are wasting my time, you know, Amisha, this is very bad. You don't want to attend, don't attend. But you can't waste time of everybody. Lakshmi Priya, I'm removing you. Muhammad Ashik, you are being removed. Amisha, this is very bad. You have to explain why you behave like this. You are not interested, you can re-register from the class, not a problem. But by attending and then disappearing is a very strong act of indiscipline. And we don't expect this from anybody. Please understand it very clearly, friends. We are making so much effort. Government is putting so much effort. DST is putting, DBT is putting so much effort. BIIS is putting, our Sashti team is putting so much effort. So many scholars are coming from all over the country to build a capacity. And if you don't have time and interest, please don't attend. You can cancel the BIIS if you wish. What's the problem? There is no coercion. There is no compulsion. We are organizing this because we believe that you are very keen and curious to learn, and we want to help you to learn. These rules of the game should be very clear. Amar, you should try to get everybody to switch on in every session. And
Okay.
Amisha will not be admitted now. Amisha will not be admitted. Let her explain first. Ask her, send a mail. Why did she not behave properly? Where she disappeared? And without permission, how can you go out of the class? Just send a message to us. Sir, I need to go for 10 minutes. I'm not feeling well, or whatever is the reason. We understand that. We respect that. We realize that sometimes you may have emergency.
Okay, Professor.
All right. So, all right, let us continue. So any question up to what I have said so far, if some of you have listened to that, I don't know how many of you have listened to that, but if you have listened to that, then what I have explained is that the first step, first I talked to you about value chain, and I explained all the steps in the value chain. And now second step that I'm going is, I'm discussing the first step in the value chain, which is scouting and documentation. And I mentioned that when we scout, let me mention different methods of scouting. How do we discover innovations? So you can have idea competition, you can have Crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing means you can announce a competition, anybody can send the ideas. You can have challenge award. You can announce an award. Somebody can say, all right, I'll give 5,000 rupees to anybody who has done something new. That can be a challenge award or 5 lakh for the matter. Then I can have Shodhyatras. My colleague must have explained to you. We go from village to village looking for innovators. That's another method. We can have idea competition in the schools. We can go to the villages, talk to the elders. We can also take help of media. We can search in the media. We can look at social media. Find out if there is anybody. We can go to YouTube and same part of social media and see whether anybody has done innovation in any field. Try to find the contact and then we contact them. We can read, we can look through the newspapers, we can look through and we can go personally ourselves. We can also find out the regions where problem is serious. Maybe where the problem is serious, there's somebody who has found the solution. We have to look for that person, the oddball. We can, of course, through word of mouth, search. We can search through our network of friends. We can put our quest on our own social media page. Look, if anybody has a solution to this problem, I'm keen. I want to do some research. I'm looking for this or that. And somebody may explain to you. So please understand that there are many ways in which we can scout. Physically, electronically, personally, in a group, through our network, through elders in our family, and of course outside in our neighborhood. We can talk to the service providers in our family, a whole range of people from whom we can learn and find solutions. That process of finding solutions that people have developed is what is called as a scouting. To discover, to find. And then the next step is, once we discover, we get a lead, one-line lead. So-and-so has developed a solar valve for regulating irrigation, let us say. Solar operated valve. Now we will have to find out what has he done actually. How does he regulate how much water flows? Does he regulate when the motor starts? How does it work? Is it remote managed? So all of that now will be the part of documentation. So first part of documentation is we want to know who has documented, who has done the innovation. And I mentioned that there could be individual. मुस्कान कीर्ति आपने बंद क्यों कर लिया वीडियो बच्चे स्विच ऑन कर लीजिए मुस्कान आप
पेन लेने गई थी
हाँ
पेन ले रही थी इसलिए बंद कर दिया
कोई बात नहीं आप कर सकती हो आपको जाना है उठ के 2 मिनट के लिए उठ जाओ कोई परेशानी नहीं है आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट यू शुड नॉट रिमेन नॉर्मल आई मीन आप प्रॉब्लम होती है बैठे बैठे कोई बात नहीं आपको खड़े होना है तो खड़े भी हो सकते हैं और then once we know the name, we know the identity, we know affiliation, whether that person is from formal sector or informal sector, the innovator or traditional knowledge holder. Is it the individual knowledge or collective knowledge? Is it a part of a group or individual work? Because supposing it is a part of a group and we give credit to only one person, it will become unfair, isn't it? So it's our duty to give due credit to all those who have either produced or refined the knowledge. We mentioned that sometimes people know this plant may lead to this effect, but they don't know how to make it happen, how to extract, how to make a formulation, how to dose it, how much medicine to be given to which kind of patient or which kind of animal or which kind of crop. So those who have ability to convert knowledge into practice must get due recognition. We want to, while documenting, we also want to document knowledge experts, people who know more than others. आप में से जब लोग document करेंगे, तो आपको ढूंढना होगा ऐसे लोगों को जिनके पास केवल ज्ञान नहीं है, लेकिन वो सिद्धहस्त हैं, उनके पास कौशल है, उस ज्ञान के इस्तेमाल करने का, उस ज्ञान को प्रदान करने का, उस ज्ञान को जो See, again, I will remove you now. You have been doing it consistently. I am removing you. This is bad. You are not learning at all. You come late and then you disturb everybody. So please understand that it's very important that we try to learn how the knowledge holder, knowledge expert rather, uses or dispenses the solution for agriculture, for livestock, for human, or industrial purpose. Maybe a dye which is used for dyeing the clothes, as indigo was used or is still used by some people, or many other dyes are used. Then next step, what problem does it solve? That question we should always ask. What problem does it solve? So then you know the purpose of the solution, purpose of the equation. Having found what problem does it solve, we will have to find out, does it have any side effect? Does it have any adverse effect? Are there any precautions we need to take? Is there any risk involved in this? Very important. Ethically, we must be very careful that when we document knowledge and we have not taken note of the risk associated with the knowledge, we can put somebody into risk. A user may not know what the risks are because you have not documented them and may suffer for no fault of theirs. So if there is any risk associated, is there any adverse effect? इसका कोई आड़ असर है, इसका कोई नुकसान होता है क्या? तो हमको वो भी लिखना होगा. फिर हम उसका process लिखेंगे. The whole process. How do we extract? Is it a cold water extract? Is it a hot water extract? Is it soaking and then boiling? Is it soaking and then grinding? Is it boiling and then grinding? What is the method which will follow? I have already explained to you that it makes a big difference whether you make hot extract, cold extract, soak and then extract, ferment and then extract, soak for 1 day or 2 days or 5 days or 10 days. Makes all the difference. Soak it at room temperature. Sometimes people put a pot of extract of certain herbs which have been put in the water, or yogurt or cow urine or whichever material, and then they bury it in a compost pit. Why? What is the temperature when the biomass decomposes? Anybody has an idea? In a compost pit, inside the compost pit, if you put a thermometer, what is the likely temperature? Any idea? Will be less than the ambient temperature or higher than the ambient temperature? Anybody? Guess karo?
Sir, higher than the ambient temperature.
Very true. It goes up to 60 to 70 degrees. Right? Now, they may not mention at what temperature we have to digest, but they'll say, isko compost pit mein rakh do. Or sometimes they say, bury it under the ground. Under the ground, temperature will be high or low?
It will be high.
No. Under the ground, temperature will be lower. In summer, water is cooler in the well, correct? In winter, water is warmer. So, temperature under the ground for sometime 1 feet, sometime 2 feet is different from the surface temperature. So that method is very important. If we don't write the method, we may not find the effect. हमने room temperature पे रख दिया. I remember one experiment was done about different organisms' ability to degrade biomass. And the staff concerned did not cover the pots, did not put sufficient layer of the biomass. So it became aerobic decomposition, and that too without any temperature increase. Whereas the digestion, while the digestion takes place, it can, even if it is aerobic, it may be in a heap, which means that the air will not be sufficiently available for the biomass to degrade, much less, limited oxidation. So the decomposition may be faster. So we have to pay attention, very careful attention, as to how the innovator or the traditional knowledge holder has used the method to extract. So we will document the entire process of extraction, of storage, of application, of dispensation, even of diagnosis of the problem, in what condition, how much quantity will be used for, how long, and will be administered through which route, orally or through skin. They don't fuck. The local communities will not use injection, isn't it? So, and if orally, is there anything along with it which they use it to deliver? Is there a carrier? तो वो सब सवाल हमको लिखने हैं, वो सब बातें लिखनी हैं जिससे कि उसकी पूरी जो प्रक्रिया है, the whole process through which that practice or that device or that machine works, all of that detail will be documented. Once the documentation is done, we should read it out to the respondent and possibly his or her, if it is lady, her husband, or children or parents, if they are there at home, or if it is a man, then his wife, in case generally she is also involved. So we should read it to the family. Then look, this is what we understood. Have you understood right? As I was asking you, bhai aapko value समझ में आया? भवानी आप भी अपना वीडियो ऑन कर लीजिए प्लीज. वैष्णवी प्लीज स्विच ऑन वीडियो. सो अगर आपको थकान हो रही है, आपको कहीं जाना है, तो आप जा सकती हो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. जस्ट टू चैट, सर आई विल बी अवे फॉर 5 minutes or 10 minutes. प्लीज एक्सक्यूज मी. खत्म हो गई बात. कटसी है. वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट देयर मे बी प्रॉब्लम. हम कहाँ मना कर रहे हैं आपको, लेकिन अपने आप नहीं एज्यूम कर सकती हैं आप. थोड़ा डिसिप्लिन रखेंगे हम लोग, ठीक है ना? सो वी हैव नॉट डॉक्यूमेंटेड, वी हैव आल्सो डॉक्यूमेंटेड द process, we have read it out to the person. Then comes a very different question. All right, who are the users of this knowledge or innovation? Have people used it before? हाँ सर, 5 लोगों ने यूज किया है. हाँ सर, 3 लोगों ने खरीदा है मेरे से ये डिवाइस या ये मशीन मेरे से. All right, can we talk to them? Of course you can talk to them. So we will talk to the users, if there are any, of the solution. Yesterday, Honorable President recognized a lady grassroots innovator from Jammu and Kashmir, Badgam, Nasira Akhtar. We met her a few years ago when we had Shodh Yatra in Gorej Valley in Bandipura. We had a meeting with innovative teachers, and she was invited by our Gyan Jammu and Kashmir colleagues. So Gyan team had invited her, and yesterday she got Nari Shakti Puraskar at the hand of the President. Now, what has she done? She has found a herb which degrades the plastic. So what does it do? When you use that herb along with the plastic and burn it, it becomes ash at very low temperature and without much fumes. That's something interesting. Nobody has done that kind of solution before. Very creative. It makes an ordinary plastic into biodegradable in some sense. Wonderful. Less pollution. Or very little pollution, because once it becomes ash, little fumes will be developed, surely. So we now know the process. We now know the users. We have talked to the users, got some insight from them. What is the next step? We will find out the side effects, adverse effects. Under what condition could it cause any harm? How important it is to give it in the dose that you recommended. If I take more, what can happen? How would I know that there's an adverse effect? What are the kind of adverse effects associated with this? You know, on a medicine, you will read contraindications. Huh? So those are risks that are involved, and you are advised to contact the doctor immediately if any of those indications, contraindications emerge. So what are the adverse effects associated with it? If it's a machine, which part tend to wear out more often? Which part should I lubricate at what frequency to maintain it properly? Correct? All of this I don't have to rediscover. When you have made a solution, you will know how to maintain it. Please tell me. A kind of a user manual or a user video will be given, user-driven video will be given, which will explain these are the precautions you should take to maintain this machine or to use this solution. I now know about adverse effect. I know the user's feedback. What else should I know now? What are the other questions I should ask? Anybody? And remember,
how efficient the device is, means
Yes.
the device or machine is.
How effective it is. So that information we will get from user, isn't it? Users will tell us what degree of effectiveness it has. So let's say there are 4 users. One person got cured of dandruff by the oil that lady has made in 1 week. Another had to use it for 1 month. Third had to use it for 3 weeks, depending upon the degree severity of the infection. Generally about, say, 1 week to 1 month. That is the range. Then we have to mention. The user should know that depending upon the degree of infection, it may take maximum 1 month, minimum 1 week. Then my expectation will not be that अगले दिन से शुरू हो जाएगा इसका effect. ठीक है ना? So we must be very careful about how effective it is. What is the next question I should ask? Anybody else? Yashaswini, Shruti, Anushka, what should be the next question? Muskan? क्या करेंगे अब हम? क्या पूछना चाहिए हमको? हिंदी में बोलो, इंग्लिश में बोलो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. How to set up, okay? How to operationalize it? How to install it if it is a device?
And what is the cost of that device?
Cost of it. Very good point, Gautam. You're right. I have to make it affordable. So I should know what is the cost of it, and cost of making it, cost of storing it, how long can I store under the room temperature, how long can it be stored? I need to know that. I need to know the availability of the raw material. Are they endemic? Are they endangered? What is the meaning of endemic? Any student of biology or botany? Endemic का मतलब क्या होता है बच्चों?
Something that is limited to a set of population.
A given region, not population,
Given
given region. Yeah, Preeti, that's right. अमर ये सवाल पूछते रहा करो, छोटे-छोटे सवाल बच्चों से हर रोज at the end of the day, because what happens is that sometimes we assume that everybody has a minimum information. Now, please remember, our experts are at times talking at much higher level of complexity. I realize that. We have told you that. But if you make a list of things that you did not understand, either the expert or our team in Srishti will explain to you at the end of the day. ठीक है ना? हर रोज अमर एक थोड़ा आधा घंटे का सेशन रखो in which you can clarify any doubt they have.
Okay, Professor.
All of you together in the lab can answer those questions.
Sure.
So that
Professor.
every day we should not have a situation when I didn't follow what I heard. अगले दिन वो confusion रहेगा दिमाग में, मेरा concentration बनेगा ही नहीं फिर.
Yes, sir.
है ना? So every day we should clarify any doubt they have. Anybody has, you heard something, you didn't follow, then our team will try to explain. And if they can't explain, then they will talk to the expert, clarify it and explain to you next day. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कभी-कभी. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि हमारे पास सारी सब सवालों का जवाब होगा. Sometimes we may not know the answer to your question. We will find the answer and let you know by next day.
So for the guest speakers, I have also given their email IDs, everything.
Very
They
nice.
can also, students can also directly mail them and ask if they have it.
Yeah, but it is
It's
always,
also we are doing.
it is possible. I'm very happy that they have done that. That's very kind of them. So coming back now, that we now know the cost effectiveness, we know the effectiveness, we know the adverse effect, and we also know the shelf life, how much durable. Now, the last point we were discussing, how rare or how abundant is the supply of the raw material. And then we were discussing whether it is endemic or widespread, and whether it is endemic and endangered. There is a red list, UNESCO's red list of UNEP, and that means there could be a global red list and there can be a local red list. That means these species are endangered. So we will not promote those solutions which use the plants or other materials which are endangered. Endemic means which are found only in a given region, nowhere else. Endemic we can deal with if it is abundant. But if it is endangered, we will not work on that knowledge because we have no reason to make that plant or that biodiversity disappear. Please understand. Okay? So now we know the situation about availability of the raw material. What is the next question we should ask? Anybody? What is the next question? What should I ask the next question? What will be my next question? Anybody's put on the chat?
Also, knowledge to use the device.
Go ahead.
So, knowledge to use the device.
Skill to use the device? Are you meaning skill?
Sir, and caution of using
Any
the
precaution,
device.
any precaution that you have to use, you should find out. Any precaution that you should use, you should find out. You know, my puppy Shakti also wants to attend the class, and I have to persuade him not to attend the class. He's very curious. He says, if they can learn, I will also learn. How can I learn? He will compete with you. All right. So we should have the knowledge of how to use the device. And what else should I know?
The percentage of the materials used to make the product.
Percentage of the
Materials that has been used.
So that comes in the formulation. We will know the formulation. We will know that when I mention method, you will document which ingredient, in what proportion, what are the things that when you make any sabzi or dal, क्या करते हैं पहले? What do we do first?
First, collecting the raw materials.
Collecting the material. What is the next step?
Sir, pre-treatment.
Sterilizing them.
नहीं और बताओ कोई जना क्या
Sir,
बात करते हैं?
pre-treatment.
Pre-treatment in case necessary. Okay. Then next
Yes.
step. आप लोगों ने सब्जी नहीं बनाई, दाल नहीं बनाई कभी, सांभर नहीं बनाई किसी ने भी? लड़के तो बिल्कुल नहीं करते काम.
Then making into small pieces for easily being cooked.
All right. What else? So making the material ready. Okay. What is the next
Deciding the
step?
concentration. Decision of concentration to be used.
The proportion. We can't mix anything in any proportion. So material, then pre-processing of the material. Pre-processing includes washing, or should we cut and wash, or should we wash and cut when it comes to vegetables?
Wash and then cut.
Wash and then cut. Anybody cutting and washing first?
According to सर जो भी होगा उसके अकॉर्डिंग, मतलब सम कुछ होते हैं जहाँ जिनको पहले कट करना होता है देन वॉश एंड
नहीं बच्चे नहीं. Anytime you cut and wash, the free amino acids will be washed away. You understand? The free amino acids will be washed away. We should never cut and wash. We should always wash and then cut. ठीक है ना? Now,
sir.
So proportion, processing, then what is the next step?
So providing conditions.
हाँ?
Providing the conditions.
नहीं, क्या condition मुझे बताओ ना, क्या करेंगे? Next step बताओ मेरे को क्या होगा?
Sir, like अगर हम दाल बना रहे हैं तो सर गैस की जरूरत पड़ेगी.
हाँ, गैस की पड़ेगी. फिर उसके बाद क्या करेंगे?
So then temperature.
टेम्परेचर भी सेट कर लिया. फिर क्या करेंगे?
सर वाटर मेन इंग्रेडिएंट होगा.
अरे बच्चे, वाटर डालते हैं पहले दाल में या पहले छौंक लगाते हैं? क्या करती है? छौंक बाद में लगाती है, तो पहले कुछ तो भूनती होगी कुछ, नहीं? मसाला वसाला भूनते हैं थोड़ा बहुत कि नहीं?
यस सर, यस सर.
So next step is the sequence. You understand? You have
Yes.
material, you have processed the material, cleaned it up. Now you are having to use a sequence in which this material will be used. Can we put coriander while cooking?
After cooking, sir.
Why? So that means sequence is very critical. If you put it before during the cooking stage, the taste will be spoiled. So do you understand sequence, how important sequence is? Please remember, science is something that we practice every day, but we don't realize that it is scientific. And therefore we separate our life in lab and life in our kitchen. But basically, they are very, very similar scientific processes. It's just that we don't use the weighing balance, we use our approximation, isn't it? But there is a proportion, how much of asafoetida will be put, how much of salt will be put, how much of turmeric will be put, how much of cumin will be put, and what sequence they will be put. Not everything is roasted equally, isn't it? And something is put in the beginning, something is put in the end, something is put in the between. Which utensil we will use? Will we use iron vessel or will we use stainless steel? Makes a difference, isn't it? Will we add some lemon so that the bioavailability of the nutrient increases? Bioavailability of the iron, which is leached, increases. All these are very important steps. So when you document the process from any knowledge holder, please remember all these steps that are critical for a good dish are critical for any formulation to work, isn't it? So now you can never forget what you have to document. Sahi hai na? Because the process is familiar to you. It's just that we have not translated our everyday experience into our professional life. So हम भूल जाते हैं कई बार, लेकिन आप खाना बनाते वक्त तो नहीं भूलेंगे ना भाई? कैसे भूलेंगे आप? और सब याद रखना, खाने में तो आप कभी टेस्ट कर लेते हो बीच में. इन फॉर्मुलेशन को टेस्ट मत कर लेना. Some of these plants are toxic. It may be herbal pesticide. है ना? तो नुकसान हो जाएगा. तो वो आदत मत करना. I mean, the thing that you will never do in the lab is what you do maybe in the kitchen is to taste. Never. है ना? कभी मत करना वो गलती. I have to be careful at what you will not do from your kitchen experience, which is tasting. Many of you try to see, हाँ नमक ठीक है कि नहीं, है ना? कई बार कर लेते हैं हम लोग. वो नहीं करना है. लैब में नहीं करना है. लैब में नहीं करना. Because we don't know which kind of plant these are. कितनी टॉक्सिसिटी है. Some of them are neurotoxic. वो दिमाग को खराब कर देंगे हमारे, है ना? So we have to be very careful that we follow the protocol. Now the method. What the documentation has to be done. Anything else that we should document? हमने cost effectiveness ले लिया, हमने adverse effect ले लिया, हमने sequence ले लिया, हमने proportion ले लिया, हमने pre-treatment और post-treatment के बारे में ले लिया. अब क्या करेंगे? What else should we document?
सर हम लोग अभी जो भी सर हम लोग ऐसा मतलब कि प्रोडक्ट मतलब अवेलेबिलिटी जो भी रॉ मटेरियल ले रहा है ऐसा लें जिससे हम लोगों को जो यील्ड मिलती है उसको भी हम लोग आसानी से डिग्रेड कर सकें या उसका भी यूज कर सकें.
Yield or what you are saying is जो वेस्ट है उसका.
यस सर, जो यील्ड निकलेगा आफ्टर रॉ मटेरियल जो हम लोगों को यूजफुल है वो हम लोगों ने ले लिया. देन जो वेस्ट है उसको भी तो हम लोग ध्यान.
Very good point. In fact, the question is so good that I'll tell you its importance. I was doing a study on IPR and traditional knowledge for word intellectual property organization. And I went to Biafra region in Nigeria as a part of my study to go to the community whose knowledge this organization had taken for making a medicine. So I was talking to them about the medicines that they make. So one of the medicines they make is to put on the arrowheads while doing hunting. And when they do hunting, they put this poison so that even if the animal does not die because of the piercing effect of the arrow, it will die because of the poisonous effect of the arrow. So they said many times some of the medicine that we make for hunting gets left unused or wasted. So there is a particular tree under which they throw it. And then tree is out of bound for everybody in the village. Nobody will go. They will make a folklore. Yahan par bhoot rehte hain, ye karte hain, wo karte hain. You know, different stories they will be constructed. But the point is, they don't want anybody to go there because they have thrown the toxic waste under that tree. And they don't want anybody to suffer. So your good point that the waste which is available, is it toxic? Can it be converted into manure? Can it be converted into drying and they make into a powder? It can be used as a scrub maybe. So for example, when you use apple or walnut, you take the walnut out. What do you do with the skin? With the skin, you can use it as a fuel, which is the low-end use, or you can make a scrub out of it for facial, powdering it. Very useful, rich in vitamin E. So the waste can sometimes be more useful than the substance that you are making out of it. So I told you, I think Devada is an aromatic plant from which a perfume is made. And one student of this found a lot of waste was thrown around and he found it was a very good biofertilizer. So Sneha, you are absolutely right that it is possible that some of the waste material could have had very important useful life. What is that called? That process is called, that is called circular economy. Circular economy means waste is defined as a product for which use has not yet been found. In industrial ecology, we define waste as a product for which use may not have been yet found. Once we find the use, then the waste will become raw material, isn't it? So if the waste of an apple juice plant, that means the skin can be, and seed can be used for apple seed oil, and apple peel can be used for pectin. Or orange waste can be used for pectin. Orange is very good source of pectin. Orange skin seed. And this grapefruit or orange seed oil is very good medicinal value. It has a lot of vitamins, very nutritionally rich. Seeds in general are very nutritionally rich, you know. In nature, seeds of all kinds are very dense nutritional source. Generalized, you can say. Different seeds, of course, different quantities, differently. But generally, seeds are very highly dense nutritional package of the nature. But which seed oil we have to use in how much moderation is a different matter. So that's good point, Sneha, that we should also document. How do we handle the waste? Yes, Mahi, you are right that we should also provide dosages. For children, the dosage may be different. For young animals, the dosage may be different. For adult animal, dosage may be different. Some medicines may be such which can be used across animal species, let us say sheep, goat, and cattle, say wound healing. Some may be specific to certain application. Correct? I have 7 minutes. Before I wrap up, any question that you have?
The storage is also something that we have to document.
Yes, storage. Well, also storage in light or darkness.
Yes, because some products get photo-oxidized.
Correct, correct, correct. So we should know that whether this medicine, this formulation can be stored in the light, at a normal temperature, at low temperature, in the fridge, wherever. What else should we document? And mind you, we are scholars, we are students, we have to learn. But communities may have this knowledge very well located in their mind, you know. So we are trying to access that knowledge. It depends upon our questions. They may not tell many things not because they don't want to tell, but because they think we may know it. तो इसलिए बहुत क्यूरियस होकर और बहुत पेशेंस के साथ में हमें पेशेंस के साथ सवाल पूछने हैं भाई। और कभी भी जब किसी से डॉक्यूमेंट करना है तो सब्जेक्ट को चेंज नहीं करना है। सपोज कर लो वो उनका ध्यान कहीं बट गया, कुछ और बात कहने लगे, तो उनको बात पूरी करने दो, उनकी बात सुन लो। फिर को काका हम तो, ये काकी हम ये बात पूछ रहे थे आपसे, तो उसके बारे में तो बताना भूल गए, आप बताएंगे थोड़ा सा? But it is possible for people not to talk in the same sequence as we in our life, professional life do. They have a concatenated narrative where sometimes they will talk about the plant process. Then they पता क्या हुआ, एक बारी वो एक मैंने उसको दिया था, फिर उससे ये हुआ, फिर उसको जो मैंने ऐसे ठीक किया, तो वो स्टोरी आ जाती है. But that's also telling us how that fellow can take care of the side effects. तो अगर वो जो होता है ना एंटीडोट होता है ना, हर एक दवाई के अंदर एक एंटीडोट होता है, अगर साइड इफेक्ट हो जाए तो एंटीडोट क्या होगा उसका, तो उन लोगों को पता होता है वो भी, तो हम पूछ लेंगे उनसे, वो बात भी पता लग जाएगी. अगर वो कहानी नहीं सुनेंगे तो नहीं पता चलेगी. सो प्लीज बी पेशेंट while documenting from the communities. Please remember that they are not as linear in thinking as we are. Their mind moves in all directions and they make a lot of connections in their narrative. तो आपको कंसंट्रेशन रखनी पड़ेगी उस थ्रेड को मेंटेन करने के लिए, बट दिमाग जाएगा इधर से उधर, और उन कनेक्शंस को बनाए हुए हमें अपनी लाइन की बात पूछते रहना है धीरे धीरे. कभी 2 घंटे भी लगेंगे, कभी 3 घंटे भी लग सकते हैं. यस अविनाश.
सर बिना किसी लैब में जाए किसी मटेरियल का टॉक्सिक वेस्ट नहीं देख सकते हैं?
दोबारा बोलो.
सर बिना किसी लैब में जाए किसी मटेरियल का टॉक्सिक वेस्ट नहीं देख सकते हैं क्या?
हाँ, देख सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल देयर आर पीपल, फैजाबाद में सबसे पहले हमने एक आइपोमिया फिस्टुलोसा होता है, एक प्लांट, नफटिया बोलते हैं, grows in the swampy areas on the roadside, and it is used as a source of herbal pesticide. It also is the wood is the stem is hollow. Is also used for making bags for storing vegetables, grains, whatever. And of course, because it has toxicity, so it has doesn't attract the pest. So a lot of people did study on housefly to see how toxic it was. उनके पास इंसेक्ट तो था नहीं, तो जो हमने पेपर रिव्यू किए तो 5-6 पेपर, हालांकि हाउस फ्लाई के लिए ये यूज नहीं करने वाले थे, लेकिन उनको मिल गया आराम से, तो उन्होंने उस पर टॉक्सिसिटी टेस्ट कर लिया. ठीक है ना, हाउस फ्लाई के द्वारा से भी कंट्रोल करते ही हो, तो कोई नुकसान भी नहीं हुआ और कोई डैमेज भी नहीं हुआ. There was one person, I'm forgetting his name, from Bharuch. He was a teacher and also farmer. So he gave cup of tea to his workers. One of the worker covered it with ipomia leaf. हमारे डेटाबेस में है ये प्रैक्टिस. After some time when he took the tea, he developed toxic symptoms. Immediately उसको डॉक्टर के पास ले गए, ठीक किया. फिर पूछा तूने क्या किया था? सर कुछ नहीं, आपने चाय दी, मैंने वो चाय पी. नहीं, लेकिन चाय तो मैंने भी पी थी, वो मेरे को तो कुछ नहीं हुआ. Then his wife said कि वो पत्ते से ढक दी थी हमने. कौन से पत्ते से? ये वाले पत्ते से. Then he said, अरे इसका मतलब अगर ढकने से उसके अंदर एरोमेटिक कंपाउंड होंगे या जो भी कंपाउंड निकल आए तो इसका मतलब बहुत टॉक्सिक है वो तो उसका उन्होंने फिर दवाई बनाई. आई एम टेलिंग यू द स्टोरी हाउ दैट person discovered this herbal pesticide. So we can do it on housefly. On if there are insects, you can collect the insects from the field or kitchen garden and try to feed them on the leaves or the raw material that you're using. And if by eating it they die, then obviously it is very toxic. Or if it is inedible, that means they don't even bite it. That means it is toxic or maybe repellent, as the case may be. So it is possible without endangering yourself. It is possible. Any other question? I have 1 minute now.
सर बट अगर हम उसको यूज करेंगे, अगर वो लीव्स को, अगर लीव्स का एक्सट्रैक्ट को हम यूज करेंगे एज ए हर्बिसाइड्स और उसे दूसरे प्लांट्स में, अगर दूसरे क्रॉप्स में डालेंगे, तो हो सकता है कि सर उसका जो टॉक्सिसिटी है वो प्लांट्स एब्जॉर्ब कर ले.
करेक्ट.
और अगर हम उस क्रॉप्स प्लांट्स को अगर हम खाएंगे तो वो टॉक्सिसिटी हमारे अंदर भी आ सकती है और उससे
राइट
harmful
राइट
effect हो
राइट
सकता है।
राइट राइट। तो रेसिडुअल इफेक्ट देखना बहुत जरूरी होता है। एंड हाउ डू वी डू दैट? We know that there are certain, even chemical pesticides are advised not before 15 days of harvest. Correct? There are time given, the time taken for degradation of those molecules. ठीक है ना? So you are absolutely right that we will have to do for formal product development a whole range of safety tests have to perform. वो आप घर में नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है ना? उसके लिए एनिमल ट्रायल भी करने पड़ेंगे, उसके लिए एलडी वैल्यू निकालनी पड़ेगी, ठीक है ना?
For that we do clinical trials.
Clinical trials and or toxicity trials on animals, ठीक है ना?
Preclinical trials.
Depending upon preclinical and depending upon what is the purpose, I mean, is it animal, is it agriculture, ठीक है ना? Residual analysis करेंगे, उसका अगर toxic effect है, कितने दिन तक रहता है वो, we will take samples and then estimate the toxic elements, toxic compounds, ठीक है ना? वो सब जरूरी होते हैं, खास तौर से जिन सब्जियों को पत्तियां खाई जाती हैं, जिनका वेजिटेटिव पार्ट कंज्यूम करते हैं, जिनका ग्रेन करते हैं, फिर हम देखेंगे ग्रेन में तो नहीं जाता कहीं, ये सिस्टेमिक तो नहीं है, ये कंटैक्ट है कि सिस्टेमिक है? कंटैक्ट माने जो सिर्फ सरफेस पे रहता है, सिस्टेमिक जो पूरी मेटाबोलाइज हो जाता है बॉडी के अंदर, है ना? वो भी हमें देखना पड़ेगा। तो टॉक्सिक स्टडीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिफोर रिलीजिंग ए प्रोडक्ट। कोई रेगुलेटरी एजेंसी
इंटरैक्शंस भी देखेंगे, कई बार चीजें यूज करने के बाद इंटरैक्शंस आते हैं, जैसे कोई दो दवाइयां हम साथ में यूज कर लेते हैं।
बिल्कुल सही बात है, तो वो जरूरी है। और उससे उसका जो है रेगुलेटर जो है वो सब चीजों के डेटा लेगा आपसे। आपको पता है ना कि इमरजेंसी यूज ऑथराइजेशन जो था, हमको कई बार फेज 2 ट्रायल में मिला कुछ वैक्सीन के लिए, बट दे डिड नॉट कॉम्प्रोमाइज द सेफ्टी ऑफ दैट। इफेक्टिवनेस के ऊपर हम बहस कर सकते हैं, कम है कि ज्यादा है, सैंपल छोटा है कि बड़ा है, दैट वाज अलाउड बिकॉज इमरजेंसी थी देश में अंदर। तो लार्ज सैंपल स्टडी नहीं हुई थी बहुत सारी वैक्सीन की ना, लेकिन सेफ्टी में कॉम्प्रोमाइज किसी में नहीं किया गया। In every single vaccine, before emergency use authorization, safety tests were done and effectiveness tests were done. Phase 1 and phase 2 तो दोनों हुए थे ना, phase 3 नहीं हो पाए थे उनके, ठीक है? कृति, आप एक छोटा सा प्रेजेंटेशन करना जब टाइम होगा तो, if you know that phase 1 क्या होता है, phase 2 क्या होता है, phase 3 क्या होता है।
Yes sir, surely I will.
हाँ, you can make a small presentation. हमारा एक छोटा सा सेशन रखो जिसमें स्टूडेंट्स प्रेजेंट करेंगे, हाँ भाई?
Sure professor.
आप देख लो अपने सेशन के हिसाब से ना, एक किसी भी दिन 1 घंटा या आधा घंटा आप ऐड करो, और हर रोज कुछ प्रेजेंटेशन स्टूडेंट्स के भी रखो, जो भी अपनी किसी ने कोई अच्छा काम किया, किसी के पास बहुत नॉलेज है उस एरिया की, लेट एवरीबॉडी लर्न फ्रॉम ईच अदर आल्सो।
Okay.
हाँ, तो कृति आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड नोज लिटिल, बट क्लिनिकल ट्रायल लेट हर एक्सप्लेन टू एवरीबॉडी, मोस्ट ऑफ देम मे नॉट नो। मधुलिका का आपको पता है क्लिनिकल ट्रायल के बारे में? राशि आपको पता है?
यस सर।
पता है, चलो ठीक है। दीप्ति आपको पता है? नहीं पता है ना, ठीक है, तो कोई बात नहीं, बताएगी। और रशी आपको पता है तो आप ऐड कर देना उसमें, कुछ भी करना है तो, अगर कोई चीज वो भूल जाए तो।
ओके सर।
ठीक है ना? सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज वी शुड लर्न फ्रॉम ईच अदर आल्सो, नॉट ओनली फ्रॉम एक्सपर्ट्स। ठीक है, सो आई विल स्टॉप हियर बिकॉज़ द गेस्ट मे हैव कम फॉर द नेक्स्ट सेशन।
Not yet, professor.
नॉट येट, ओके, देन आई कैन टेक इट। हाँ, ये पैकेजिंग की बात कही राशि ने, प्रतिमा ने बायो इन्फॉर्मेटिक्स की बात कही, both are important, but those are detailed. Bioinformatics will give you, if you want to do docking studies, or if you want to see various other targets at which that compound which you have extracted from a plant or whichever may have effect, तो कई बार आपको ट्रायल के बिना भी ये डेटा मिल जाता है ना, जो आपने मॉडल्स बना रखे हैं उनमें डालने से पता लग जाता है कि कौन कौन से अदर जीन्स ट्रिगर होंगे या सप्रेस हो जाएंगे उनके एक्सप्रेशन को। तो मे बी Premlata can explain that. And packaging is very important, that what kind of packaging should we use. If we use a normal plastic, will this material degrade it, और प्लास्टिक का इफेक्ट तो नहीं आ जाएगा मेडिसिन के अंदर, है ना? तो फूड ग्रेड का प्लास्टिक होता है, और जो 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 कोरोसिव प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, जो उसमें एसिड ज़्यादा है, पीएच लो है जिनका, उसके लिए अलग प्लास्टिक होगा। ठीक है, तो जिस मटेरियल में हम स्टोर करेंगे या डिस्पेंस करेंगे वो भी हमें डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा। ग्लास में करेंगे, कुछ चीज़ें जो हम प्लास्टिक में दे ही नहीं सकते, उनको ग्लास के शीशे में देना पड़ता है ना? तो वो सब पैकेजिंग का इशू बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, यू राइट। व्हेन वी कम टू प्रोडक्ट स्टेज, अभी आज तो हमारा सिर्फ डॉक्यूमेंटेशन था लोगों की नॉलेज का ना, तो उसमें तो जनरली वो लोग पैकेजिंग नहीं करते ज़्यादा, बहुत कम लोग मिलेंगे आपको जिनके पास पैकेजिंग की भी टेक्नोलॉजी होगी, वरना फॉर्मुलेट करते हैं जनरली ऑर्डिनरी बॉटल में या शीशियों में स्टोर कर लेते हैं, पाउडर है तो कागज में लपेट के दे देते हैं। लेकिन ऑल ऑफ दिस हाइजीन फैक्टर्स क्या होने चाहिए उसका भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए, प्रिकॉशंस क्या होती है उसका भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए, ठीक है ना। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? Surveys, yes, surveys can be done to find diversity in information. Survey is to find universe of a phenomena. Let's just say आपको पता चला कि अर्ली सोइंग करते जो जहां पर when we were in BIIS-11 बांग्लादेश में बहुत साल पहले की बात है 85 की, तो लोगों ने बताया कि सर जब बारिश बहुत लेट हो जाती है ना, मानसून का बारिश बहुत लेट जाती है, जिस साल बारिश देर तक होती रहती है तो मॉइस्चर ज्यादा हो जाता है फील्ड में। तो बोरो क्रॉप में क्या करते हैं वो, दे इंक्रीज द नंबर ऑफ सीडलिंग्स पर हिल। हिल माने एक छेद होता है जिसमें आप नॉर्मली अगर 3 सीडलिंग लगाएंगे तो 3 की जगह 6 लगाते हैं। तो मैंने पूछा यार ये क्या बात है, बोले ऐसा क्यों करते हो भाई? तो बोले सर ऐसा होता है जितना लेट ट्रांसप्लांटेशन करेंगे उतना कम टिलरिंग होगा, टिलरिंग कम होगा तो ईयर बियरिंग टिलर भी कम होंगे। ईयर बियरिंग माने जिस टिलर के ऊपर ईयर आएगा, ग्रेन आएंगे, वो भी कम होंगे। तो उसको कंपनसेट करने के लिए नंबर ऑफ प्राइमरी टिलर्स को बढ़ाने के लिए हम नंबर ऑफ सीडलिंग बढ़ा देते हैं। एंड बट दे आर नॉट वर्कड ऑन इक्वेशन पर वीक डिले हाउ मेनी सीडलिंग शुड आई इंक्रीज, वो काम हमारा है, लेकिन प्रैक्टिस उनकी थी। ऐसे में हम सर्वे कर सकते हैं और पता कर सकते हैं कि भाई जनरली फार्मर्स ने क्या रूल बनाया है, पर वीक ऑफ डिले क्या प्रैक्टिस है, कितना कोएफिशिएंट वेरिएशन है उस प्रैक्टिस में। एंड व्हेन द कोएफिशिएंट वेरिएशन इज नॉट टू हाई, दैट मींस दिस इज ए प्रिवेलेंट कंसेंसस अमंग द यूजर कि भाई अगर नॉर्मली आप 3 या 4 सीडलिंग लेते हैं, 4 की जगह आप डबल कर दो, 8 लगा पर वीक ऑफ डिले। और अगर 2 वीक से ज्यादा डिले हो जाएगा तो आपको सीडलिंग ज्यादा नहीं बढ़ानी है, आपको उतनी रखनी है, आपकी यील्ड थोड़ी कम, क्योंकि फिर ज्यादा सीडलिंग बढ़ाते जाएंगे तो नेचुरली कंपटीशन बहुत बढ़ जाएगा। तो देयर इज एन ऑप्टिमल नंबर व्हिच वी कैन गिव। ऐसे कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो सकता है जिसके बारे में हम सर्वे कर सकते हैं। सर्वे इज टू फाइंड द यूनिवर्स, दैट यूनिवर्स मीनिंग कितना वाइड स्प्रेड है ये फिनोमेना, उसके लिए सर्वे यूज होते हैं। सर्वे से पहले हमें हमेशा केस स्टडी कर लेनी चाहिए। केस स्टडी से हमको पता चलता है क्या क्या फैक्टर्स इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं एक फिनोमेना को, और सर्वे बताता है कितने वाइड स्प्रेड है ये फैक्टर्स। ये जनरल रिलेशनशिप है बिटवीन केस स्टडी एंड सर्वे। सर्वे से हमको ये भी पता चल जाता है कि कोई प्रॉब्लम के अंदर डाइवर्सिटी कितनी है। इनोवेशन ढूंढने के लिए जनरली सर्वे से कम ही मिलते। सर्वे मतलब क्लासिकल सर्वे जो होता है, सैंपल सर्वे, उससे तो नहीं। हाँ, हम लोग जो बात कर रहे हैं लोगों से रैंडम, वो तो उससे भी पता चलता है, एक बार पता लग जाता है वेरिएशंस का। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? ओके, Kirti, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Sure. Any other question?
सर
हाँ बोलो।
सर अगर हम पैकेजिंग सर अगर हम पैकेज जो हमारा प्रोडक्ट है उसको हम अदर कंटेनर में शिफ्ट कर दें तो सर
बोलो।
सर हमारी पैकेजिंग से ही जो हमारा प्रोडक्ट है वो स्पॉइल हो रहा है। अगर हम पैकेजिंग चेंज कर दें तो हम अपने प्रोडक्ट जो हमारा प्रोडक्ट है उसको प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं।
हाँ देखो ऐसा है, पैकेजिंग क्या होता है, आप किसी चने मुरमुरे के पास गए, किसी के पास गए, दुकानदार के पास, उसने एक केले का पत्ता लिया, उसके अंदर लपेट कर आपको बांध दिया धागे से, वो भी पैकेजिंग है ना, सही है ना। एक अखबार वाले के पास गए, मतलब उसके चना जोर गरम के पास, उसने अखबार का एक कोन बनाया, उसमें डाला, ऊपर से उसको बंद कर दिया, वो भी पैकेजिंग है, सही है। तो पैकेजिंग का कोई एक मीनिंग नहीं होता है। पैकेजिंग का मतलब बोतल नहीं होता है, पैकेजिंग का मतलब खाली ढक्कन नहीं होता, पैकेजिंग का मतलब खाली शीशे नहीं होता है। एनीथिंग विच कैन बी रैप्ड अराउंड, एनीथिंग विच कैन कंटेन द मटेरियल, दैट इज पैकेजिंग। तो दिमाग खुला रखो अपना, वरना क्या होगा, हम सिर्फ शीशी और बोतल के फ्रेम में डिस्कस करेंगे। आपको मालूम है जैसे जैसे if there is a material which can be stored, let us say I order jaggery from South India, palm jaggery मुझे बहुत पसंद है। अब वो क्या करते हैं, वो पाम लीफ का ही बास्केट बनाते हैं, उसके अंदर जैगरी रख देते हैं। वेरी गुड पैकेजिंग, नो वेस्टेज, नो प्लास्टिक, आई लाइक दैट, वेरी सस्टेनेबल पैकेजिंग। तो इसलिए पैकेजिंग के अंदर बहुत सारा वेस्ट हो जाता है प्लास्टिक का। इट्स अ गुड क्वेश्चन दैट यू आर आस्किंग कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पैकेजिंग वी यूज व्हेन वी कम टू द प्रोडक्ट स्टेज, या लोगों ने क्या पैकेजिंग यूज किया है, क्या उसको हम ड्यूरेबल बना सकते हैं। एक इनोवेटर है जिनको हमने फंड किया है ज्ञान ने, मिस्टर वर्गीज, व्हाट इज नेम, साजी वर्गीज, इंग्लिश के टीचर है वो, बेंगलुरु में क्राइस्ट कॉलेज के अंदर। तो उन्होंने देखा जो कोकोनट प्लांट है उसके बहुत सारी लीव्स नीचे गिर जाती हैं, क्राइस्ट चर्च कॉलेज में। तो उन्होंने उन लीफ को स्ट्रॉ में कन्वर्ट कर दिया। He has made some machines by which they, or natural wax that is available on the leaf, they don't remove it, and he made a straw out of it. पूरी दुनिया में एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं। हमने उनको अवार्ड दिया। बड़ा अच्छा पैकेजिंग है, बड़ा अच्छा स्ट्रॉ बन गया वेस्ट मटेरियल से, ठीक है ना, किसी ने सोचा नहीं था आज तक, पहली बार बनाया उन्होंने। तो packaging is important, and you can also make packaging of the kind which can be used. There are some packages which are not supposed to be reused. For example, pesticide का जो कंटेनर होता है उसमें लिखा भी होता है, लेकिन लोग बाग यहाँ ध्यान नहीं देते हैं। You are supposed to puncture it. You are not supposed to put any water or anything in it. You are not supposed to reuse that container. It's so toxic. लेकिन गांव के लोग धो धा के इस्तेमाल कर लेते हैं, बहुत दुख की बात है। So please remember that how to dispose of the container in case it has some toxic substance, वो भी लिखना चाहिए हमको। But that's a matter of detail. Anything else? I'll take few more minutes, maybe 5 minutes, because Dr. Mukesh lecture will be now at between 2 to 3 because he has a power cut in his item class.
Sir, you have asked, sir, you have told about the straw बनाया था, तो sir straw किस चीज से बनाया था? Can you repeat it?
उन्होंने 4 मशीनें बनाई जो फॉलन लीफ होती है। मैं आपको उनका वीडियो का लिंक दे देता हूं, तो आप देख लेना, तो इट विल बी इजियर फॉर यू। तो ये देखिए साजी वर्गीज का उसका वीडियो। तो ये जो है just I'll show you for briefly. I don't want to divert our subject, but क्या हुआ? I hope it works. Let me see. You can see it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he also got the HB and Kriya award that we give to sustainable technologies around the world. So we had Gyan gives, Honeybee Network gives, Gyan, Sashti together, give an award for Honeybee Network Creativity and Inclusive Innovation Award, CRIIA, HB and CRIIA at gyan.org or HB and Kriya at honeybee.org. And out of 2,500 entries from 87 countries, he got an appreciation award. So yes, that question is answered. You can find more information if you wish to. Before I close, anybody else has any question? What I suggest, Amar, since we have some time, maybe we can use 15 more minutes so that if Kirti is not here, but if Rashi or somebody else wants to explain some of the aspects which they would like to deal with within the domain of documentation, clinical trials, safety, packaging, how do we do various kinds of screening or analysis. If anybody wants to present, please encourage them to present. All right? Because then
Sure.
they can be later. Sure. But before I leave, last suggestion or observation that if any one of you has to ask any question, even afterwards, feel free. Write to BIIS@sasti.org, BIIS@sasti.org, and our team will contact me or whosoever needs to answer that question. The question will be forwarded to us. If you write directly to somebody, mark a copy to BIIS. We should know what questions were asked. That will help us to help our faculty prepare better for these sessions in future. So please do keep BIIS informed of whatever questions you ask. Yes, मोहम्मद आशिक, आप क्यों लेट आए आज? और आपका वीडियो क्यों नहीं ऑन था? मुझे आपको निकालना पड़ा था. क्या बात हुई थी मोहम्मद आशिक? तो बताओ तो. अनम्यूट करो अपने आप को. अनम्यूट करो.
हाँ सर.
क्या हुआ? आप क्यों आपने वीडियो ऑन नहीं किया था? मुझे आपको निकालना पड़ा क्लास से ना आज.
सर, don't know Hindi, sir. Please in English.
So why did you not switch on your video when I asked everybody to switch on?
Sir, the session started on the video, sir. When I'm entering to the session, I on this, sir.
No, but afterwards I asked everybody to switch on. But you were not. Were you hesitant at one time? Did I have to remove you from the class? No.
Sir, I on the session till the starting, sir.
Till the starting, no, till the end I'm talking about. Okay,
sir,
tell me your question.
From the starting, I on
tell me your question. What did you want to ask? You raised hand.
Sir, before you tell in Hindi, sir, that I can't understand, so I need to tell in English.
Well, what did I say in Hindi? Can anybody tell me? Then I will English translate. I'm sorry that I didn't translate everything that I said. Whatever I said was that whenever you write to any expert, mark a copy to BIIS@sasti.org so that we know what questions you asked, and we will in future use those questions. If you want to ask any one of us in the Sasti network to ask questions, in that case, you can send a mail to BIIS@sasti.org, and they will pass on the question to the concerned speaker and get the answer if the speaker is not available and pass it on to you. All right? Understand? So please remember that, and we also want that if there's a subject that you know better, then you should volunteer that I would like to make a 10-minute or 20-minute presentation on a particular topic which is concerned with our course, and we will encourage you to do that. Every day we will try to have 1 or 2 presentations from the students on topic connected to our subject. Okay, na? So that will give you a chance to show your talent, your knowledge, and share it with others. And that will give you more confidence. Presentation is a useful skill to develop, and that skill comes with practice. So don't worry if you are not able to present very well first time, but try. And other colleagues should be patient. and encourage each other. Supposing somebody doesn't speak English well, or somebody is not able to speak fluently, ruk ke bol rahe hai, is struggling to find words. Doesn't matter. Be patient with that person. And with your patience, slowly and slowly, her hesitation will go away and she will be able to present better next time. Okay? Don't hold the inability of somebody to speak fluently in any language as problem. The question is whether that person has knowledge which we shall. Yes, anybody wanted to ask a question? I have somebody. Yes, Amisha.
Sir, I want to ask that presentation topic will be random or the topic that is going on?
No. What I'm saying is generally we have presentations scheduled on the assignments. We will plan all the 4 assignments that have been shared. Because deadline bana do, Amar. Please make a deadline for each assignment.
So that we are giving, sir. 2 to 3 days.
The presentation of those assignments, I would like to be present during those days. If you inform me in advance, then every student will get maybe 2 slides each. All right. So we may need about 1.5 hours, and everybody will present their assignment so that everybody else learns from their assignment. Otherwise, we will learn from their assignment, but they will not learn from each other's assignment. Yesterday, I had a class on 7th from 5:40 to 8:30, from 2:30 to 5:30. Then I had to have 2 more classes in the night from 9 to 10 and 9 to 10:30 yesterday, because not everybody could present in the class. So I had to have extra classes for them in IMA. We were talking about the final project. So I don't mind sitting with you in the night also if necessary and listening to your presentation. And we'll request our other colleagues also to join when you present. Okay. So, all right. So I'll take leave now. Any other question before I leave? Any other question about BIIS in general now? 1 minute, 2 minutes we can spend. Any question about how to make BIIS more effective? Are you enjoying?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my one question is that we are talking about herbs and all other natural phenomena here, but why are we not talking about chemical phenomena also? Like,
we have people from, we have experts from Chemical Technology Institute. We have people also from medical devices. But looking at the makeup of the team, since we have few students from engineering, our bias is little more toward biological. But we have material, we can give you, Amar, my suggestion is we have old YouTube lectures.
Yes, for engineering.
So please pass it on. 1 year we had 2 batches actually. We had engineering batch and we had biological batch.
2 batches we had, separate batches.
Yeah, some years ago. So please get that material shared with Tushar and others who are from engineering background so that they can see those videos also. So when we had more students from engineering, we had 2 batches simultaneously. I would also encourage Tushar that those of you who are interested, you should also go to ss.sashti.org, summerschool.sashti.org, which will be organized in the month of May, both by Sashti and Gyan. We get students from ITI and Polytechnic and also engineering colleges. 1 year we had 100 applications from IIT Delhi itself. Now, these summer school is organized where you will find how to make mind map, how to convert an idea into prototype, how to test it, and then how to get feedback from the users. They invite users to evaluate the solution that the students make, frugal solutions. So you might go to some of the case, look at some of the case studies at ss.srishti.org, summerschool@srishti.org, particularly for mechanical and electronic people. So we have made diagnostic devices, we have made portable spectrophotometers, we have made devices for processing various products, for harvesting tools, for manual workers, etc., etc. So you will find many interesting projects there. I think for 5-6 years, all the projects are listed there. And you can quickly see them, and whatever is of your interest, you can see them in more detail. And you're welcome to come back if you wish to on summer school also. Not a problem. Okay? Any other question?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
So many of the products that we use in agriculture, like if they form like non-biodegradable waste, how feasible it is to use the microorganisms to tackle these problems, sir?
microorganisms or non-biodegradable. Is that what you're saying?
Waste.
It's very interesting because Nasira Akhtar got President Award yesterday for using a herbal ingredient to degrade plastic. She is a lady from Jammu and Kashmir, and she works with the pollution control department, because when she went there to ask about her technology, they said, "You are so brilliant, why don't you join our department?" So she got a job. But she has been working on this technology, apparently licensed to a company, and she got Nari Shakti Puruskar yesterday. So there are organisms which may, in some cases, digest apparently ordinarily non-degradable materials. But some materials like ceramic, they are signatures of the era. So if you want to know what was happening 5,000 years ago, we use ceramic of that time to stamp the culture and technology of that time, So ceramics don't degrade for even thousands of years. So there are some materials for which we have no solution, but people have found ways of powdering them and mixing with polymer to reuse them. But as you know, there are some stupas of Buddha time, 2000 years ago in Bihar and elsewhere, which are still standing erect. है ना? तो पता है आपको कैसे करते हैं वो? They do the opposite of what you are saying. They mix pulses in the bricks when they made. And they use pulses as a binding agent. There was no concrete at that time. But those structures are standing for 2000 years in open rain and open wind. 2000 years, 2200 years, correct? So we have some technologies by which even the degradable materials can be used to provide strength for as long as 2000 years. So remain curious about how our communities solve problems. We should be able to ask ourselves, how can we use more and more? Yesterday we had a technology, I was in a committee of Central University, and they had construction waste, and how can you use construction waste in new construction, and what kind of treatment that you have to make, because they're not degradable, Concrete is not degradable easily. So they were trying to find which polymer can be used. But this is a question which is not answered properly, because we still don't have answer to how to take care of microplastics, how to take care of plastics and so on. You know that in our air, in our water, almost everywhere we find microplastics going into our lungs because we are drilling them. So it's a very serious problem. And I strongly advise you, when you go out, even when COVID is not there, continue to use masks. It's a useful solution you should develop. In Japan, they wear masks every day, even without pandemic, And therefore, they have much lesser load of pulmonary infections. So my strong advice to all of you, please continue to use mask. Corona is not yet over. But even otherwise, it's safe. It is safe. Any other question before I leave? Yes. Presentation should be on a topic linked to the BIIS. But if you, so for example, in the past, we had a presentation on the coronavirus. How does virus attack human beings? And there's a team of 4 students who presented the entire virus model and what is the spike protein and how does it bind and all of those things they presented, which is linked to this. So when you are asking any topic, no. I mean, broadly topic should be, the biotechnology is a very broad subject, but make it link with solving problems of society. That's all we want. Broader. All right. So thank you. Amar, please see if anyone of them want to present. Please go ahead. Give them a chance. And okay, those whom I had to remove today, Amisha, what did I remove you? Amisha? I have a faint memory that I did. Amisha?
Yes.
आपको मैंने निकाला था रूम से? Amisha, unmute yourself. आपने वीडियो ऑन नहीं किया था ना?
Yes, sir. Yes,
ऑन किया नहीं थे, कहाँ चली गई थी ऑन क्लास को अटेंड करके?
Sir, actually, sir, there is huge network problem. Sir, I am connecting from various sources and Wi-Fi also, but sir, there is causing problem.
तो आप चैट पे डाल सकती हो ना, चैट पे लिख दो ना इस बात को कि मेरे को प्रॉब्लम आ रही है.
Okay, sir.
तो मुझे
यस
दिक्कत है
सर।
तो आप मुझे रिमूव मत करना।
सर मैंने वाईफाई से भी कनेक्शन करके देखा बट हुआ नहीं था सॉल्व।
देखो हमेशा मेरी
सॉरी
बात,
सर।
हाँ कोई बात नहीं, प्रॉब्लम मैं समझता हूँ आपकी भाई, आई अंडरस्टैंड दिस प्रॉब्लम। माय ओनली रिक्वेस्ट इज आइदर सेंड ए व्हाट्सएप मैसेज टू अमर, अमर का नंबर तो आपके पास होगा ही, और सेंड ए मेल और
यस सर।
व्हाटएवर इज बेस्ट।
यस सर, आई हैव सेंड अ व्हाट्सएप मैसेज।
आपने भेजा था?
यस सर, सर दैट देयर इज नेटवर्क इशू।
अच्छा ठीक है, ठीक।
और सर फिर कनेक्ट भी नहीं हो रहा था।
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं।
यस सर, सॉरी सर।
No problem. I'm only requesting that don't disappear after switching on or registering. If there's a problem, keep us informed. बता दो तो फिर हम लोग उसको समझेंगे ना। We are also empathetic. हम आपको कोई, we also want you in the class as much as you want us to be there, है ना? All of you are precious for us.
Yes,
we
sir.
don't want to miss any one of you. But discipline रखेंगे थोड़ा सा। कोई दिक्कत है तो बता दीजिए।
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, बट वीडियोस आपके ऑन होंगे ना, तो जो टीचर आते हैं ना पढ़ाने के लिए, उनको भी अच्छा लगता है। आपके फेसेस पे रिएक्शन आता है ना, तो हमको समझ में आता है कि हमारी बात आपको समझ में आ रही है कि नहीं आ रही, whether you are able to understand what I am saying or not able to understand. We can see from your facial impression. ठीक है? So it is good to keep your videos on. Please keep your videos on unless there is a problem of serious problem of network for somebody. Then you can mention on chat or somewhere, sir, I am not able to switch on video because of this problem. Permit me. खत्म बात, हो गया, कोई आर्गू नहीं करेगा आपसे। बट ये प्रॉब्लम तो एक दो को ही आएगी ना, सबको तो नहीं आ सकती ना। That you should remember. Not everybody will have problem. One or two of you will have. We'll tolerate that. Yeah. But generally, courtesy is all of you will switch on whenever a faculty comes, because faculty wants to see your faces and talk to you. They don't want to talk to a blank screen. Correct? ध्यान रखेंगे आप सब लोग, cooperate करेंगे ना?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Students, our next lecture will be at 2 to 3 p.m. after lunch. Professor Mukesh from IIT Madras will join us. Okay, so all have your lunch and then join us back at 2 to 3. Okay, thank you.
So when I'll be having my presentation for the topic of clinical trials.
Properties of Can you do it on 12th Saturday?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. So you prepare your slides. Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. Okay, we will start this.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, sir, today, sir, from 3 o'clock, I am having my examination. I am having mid-semester examination. So 2 to 3, I can attend the class. Oh, that thing I was informing, sir.
Okay. You can later watch it on the YouTube channel. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.